All right, welcome back to Football Coaching Corner. Today I have Coach Chadd Braine, who is the defensive backs and special teams coordinator over at St. Anselm College in my home state of New Hampshire. I'm right down the road in Bow, so it's nice to see another New Hampshire coach in here. So Coach Braine has been at St. A's for a couple of years. He just is actually starting in this 2019 season. He's previously worked as the defensive coordinator at Stroudsburg, where he led the country in forced fumbles per game, second in fumble recoveries per game. That's pretty impressive to me. So, Coach, welcome on. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, that'd be great.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. This is awesome. I mean, the resources that coaches are allowing each other to have during this quarantine is unbelievable, and it's wild because my wife and I keep saying that the days go by so fast because we are very, very busy. We're busy doing Zoom meetings with our players. I do them twice a week, and then I do Zoom meetings with some of my high school buddies twice a week, and then I've done I think this is my third online live thing. So it's pretty cool. It's keeping us busy, and I'm getting better. And now I understand Google Hangouts and Zoom MIDI videos. It's great. Um,
And
Go ahead.
oh yeah, that's kind of why I got this whole thing started. I'm a 23-year-old JV coach. I'm right up at Kearsarge Regional High School. So one of the things I've always been trying to look to get better and better every day. And I've seen a lot of the Zoom clinics, the Glacier clinics, but I'm also a teacher up there. So some of the times I'm stuck in classes or in meetings or whatever it is. So I figured being able to put these together, record them, throw them on YouTube for us non-tech savvy coaches to be able to access at any time would be a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So I got into coaching. I originally went to school to be a phys ed teacher and a high school coach, and luckily I was lucky enough to not redshirt my freshman year, and what we our teacher certification program was a 5-year program. So my 5th year of college, I was given the opportunity to be a student assistant, and then he basically was trying to bribe me by saying, "Hey, you be a student assistant next year, you could be the GA." And I didn't realize how hard graduate assistants were to obtain at the time. Now I know that they're very difficult. I became a graduate assistant, and I was coaching the secondary all by myself as a 24-year-old GA who had played with 3/4 of the guys I was coaching. Um, so it's pretty wild. Like the positive about that is I had to demote one of my best friends, and when I demoted one of my best friends, I can say it now. I'm not disrespecting anybody because I did not feel like he was the second best player at the time. The guy that replaced him actually got hurt, and then he had to end up playing, and he was an all conference player that year. But the moral of the story is I learned at a young age that you have to be strong and you have to be honest with kids when you're demoting or promoting somebody. I think that me having to do that to my buddy, literally a guy that I'm still friends with, made it a little bit easier to do it to kids now. And I'm not saying that I enjoy that, but I think it's very, very difficult to demote players. But when you're trying to put the best 11 on the field, which everyone says, you may be hurting the player's feelings that you're demoting, but the young man that's behind him, you're really, really hurting the team and that player if you don't have the best 11 on the field. So we always try to, hey, get the best 11 on the field, and no matter who's recruiting who and who knows him the longest or whatever, our job is to recruit good student athletes to the school, to get those student athletes to graduate and then win football games. And you're not going to win football games by not playing the best players. So that's sort of been my philosophy. I'm old enough now. They look at me as a big brother / father figure, and I'm able to, I embrace that role. I like that role a lot better than being the young coach that they want to be buddies with. I don't, that was never me.
Yeah, no, I know that side of it as a 23-year-old teaching and coaching in high school. It's definitely setting that line is pretty important early on. So that sounds, cutting people and demoting people sounds probably like the tougher part of your job. What would you say is one of like the favorite parts of your job you get to do?
I mean, the favorite part of the job, I think, for any football coach is Saturday game day. I always say that we're the only profession coaches that enjoy working on Saturdays, Sundays, Friday nights, when everyone else is off. I mean, game day and winning, that feeling when you win, and the feeling, the accomplishment that when you win, and then the other part of it is seeing your players make a big play or have success with some things that you've literally taught them. And then, the long-term rewards are tremendous by having kids say, hey, thank you for everything that you've done. And as I've gotten older, my motto to my players is, my job is to make your life better, and that's what my ultimate goal is, to make your life better in a variety of ways. So, that's my favorite part about the job, is Saturdays, and then making other people's lives better.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things even I've learned in my short time coaching too. So, Coach, you're here today more to talk some DBs, talk some movement patterns you guys do over there at St. A's, and then some drills you do for some offhand technique stuff too.
Yep. Yeah. So I learned DB play. My freshman year coach was Brent Pry, who's the current defensive coordinator at Penn State. And the one thing that I learned from him is that he does very similar drills every day. He's not doing drills to be sexy or to be unique. He wants to do drills that are applicable for things that are occurring on the football field. So everything that I'm teaching my guys has to apply to the football field. And we play some off man, we play some man free, we play some off zero. We also play some cover four, which most of the time it turns into some type of man. So I think it's very, very important. And I had gone, I don't know how many years, 7 or 8 years without coaching the DBs. I had been a linebacker coach. I played corner. I think I coached 8 or 9 years as a DB coach, and now I'm back at it. And when I redesigned my implementations, I really, really took how I coached linebackers and processed that the same way with my DBs. So what we do is we go stance and start, movement patterns. Okay. And stance and start are a huge thing, and then the movements are literally the things that you're going to do every day. And if I'm here, let me make sure I can share my screen real quick.
Yep. Yeah, in the top right, and those three little buttons, you should be able to click on that and share.
Got it. Are you guys seeing it or no?
I'm not seeing it just yet. It's so on mine. If I click on the top right, there's the three vertical dots.
Okay.
Oh, there I
Got
go. Yep.
anything now?
Yeah, I got it now. Awesome.
Okay, so you can see my huddle clips here.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go through. This is a quick cut, and I know you want to keep it at about 20 minutes. And if I get long-winded, just tell me to shut up. But
I got it.
the thing that we do is we try to get footballs involved in all of our drills, either scooping and scoring or catching the football. And so we do employ two coaches during this, myself and Coach Griesmer. I work with the DBs along with Coach Griesmer. Coach Griesmer is a graduate of Kenyon College. He works with the outside linebackers. He'll take the safeties sometimes. But right here, what we're doing is this is day one weave. Okay, so we're working on keeping our inside leverage, or if you are playing something where you have to keep outside leverage, we're working on trying to keep our shoulders square while we're gaining horizontal leverage.
Yep.
There's two things you have to think about. You have to think about horizontal leverage and vertical leverage. Vertical leverage, meaning if they get behind you, you're dead. I tell our guys, you have to make them play another down. If you turn too late and you lose your vertical leverage, you're not allowing them to play another down. You're giving up a touchdown. But then you also have to worry about your horizontal leverage, because your horizontal leverage in the slant game and the post game, you got to defend from the in-breaking routes when you're playing that man technique. So here, what you're going to see here is we're weaving, practicing keeping our leverage, and then we're turning and burning.
Yep.
And then what these are is counter moves here. I do not do turn and burn drills per se. I'll show you what I do, but there's not a big reason for me to backpedal kids, turn them and run them 30 yards in a drill. You know what I'm saying? In Indy drills. I'll show you the drills that we do to work on this. But what we're doing here, they're basically opening up like they're threatened vertically, turning. Okay, now they're running the comeback, and now they're coming back. So we're working on the movements that they're going to see in the game. Okay, so now I just talked about turning and burning. I don't like to do that necessarily on air. So this is a drill I really, really like. And it's applicable. It teaches them to get out, to open and go. And it's also, the other thing it does is it teaches them very, very good eye discipline, which we didn't have in the beginning of the year. Okay, so he's got to be able to play the hands. But the biggest thing for this presentation is they have to be able to open their hips and go. So I call that the catch-up drill, meaning they're beat and they got to play the hands because they're beat. But for this purpose, it also works on opening and going. Here's a different view. You see, once again, Coach Griesmer has these guys. I'm on the other side working with the other guys. This is not a very, very good look here. It's a freshman going against an outside linebacker. I'd rather have them giving us a little more effort. Good effort here.
Yeah, I like that they got to find the hands, too, when they're beat like that.
Yep. Not sure why we didn't throw it here. But it teaches you that good transition into that recovery into the fade, opening up and going. So now I will do this stuff every day. I'll do this stuff every day. And what you're going to see here is they're literally going to go through the pattern tree. He's weaving. Now, granted, the first clips you saw, they were really, really rusty. You see them in short sleeves and shorts. Now they're wearing long sleeves. You're talking, it's probably up in October. It's October. So here, pedal, open, playing the comeback. Open, playing the comeback. The only thing I don't like by a couple of them is when they're catching the football, they're not accelerating.
Yeah, you got to play through the line.
So here, now they're playing the curl. Open up, break back for the curl. When they catch the ball, I want them to run harder. Line. Open, come back for the curl.
Yeah.
And here is the post. I do teach the speed turn. I feel like it's important to use the momentum that you have to be able to turn your body. So if we go through it here, he's opening like he's covering the post or the vertical, and then they run the post and underneath of him, and then he's got to accelerate, high point the ball. Now, I only have corners here. Coach Griesmer takes care of the outside linebackers and our safeties. But I do like them to do this drill one-on-one like this because I do want them to go full speed. High point in the ball. It's important. So now we go to the other side. Working the comeback on both sides.
Coach, how long do you guys have in Indies every day, just about?
We have about 15 minutes.
Okay. So you're pretty rapid fire during all this. You got a routine going for them, and they know.
It's got to be rapid fire. Yep.
Yeah.
So we do it both sides. I try to hit it every day if I can on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Now, this version here, this is what I call pattern finishers. I'm not sure why my huddle's not working right.
I can see it on my end.
Okay, yeah, it's good now. Okay, so now all I'm doing here is literally working the footwork of covering the comeback and covering the curl. I'm not doing the weave. To be honest with you, some of our guys, instead of turning back like this, we're literally doing a speed turn to come back. Some of the younger guys, and you don't want that when you're playing the comeback. You want to use a speed turn when you're covering the post. You don't want to use a speed turn covering the comeback or the curl. So this is a real short drill here. We try to take both groups at the same time. So we work up top, they're working catch man technique, the safeties and the outside linebackers. And down below, we're just doing these quick rapid fire pattern finishers.
Mm-hmm.
All these drills are things that they really, really progressed with as the season on. So here's the speed turn. Open, turn.
Yeah.
Open, turn. Every single rep, they have the football.
Now, when you're coaching that turn, are you telling them to be violent on that turn, to plant and rip those hips through?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going back to what Brent Pride told me. I'll never forget it. I was 18 years old. He's like, get your head around. If you get your head around, your body will follow. Throw the elbow. Throw the elbow. Get the head around.
Yeah. Almost like a pulling guard a little bit.
Absolutely. Let me see something real quick. Okay. You want me to go through this ball disruption real quick?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay. So, guys, I didn't, I had taken an 8 years off of coaching DBs. And to be 100% honest with you, I just sort of assumed, and you know what they say when you assume, that we knew how to take the football away from a DB perspective. And I threw this up here because I think it's important. So we weren't securing the tackle and swatting the ball with the correct arms. So what we're literally doing here, and we did this once to teach them, secure the tackle and rip the arm out. So for young guys that don't know how to do it, what they have to do is understand that near arm is going to secure and the far arm is going to knock the ball away. And then a drill that I really, really like, especially early on, and I call this dog fight. So both guys are going to be coming at me, and whoever, they're both going for the football. Doesn't matter. Nobody is determined to be a receiver or a DB. They're both going to the football. But if you're not going to get the football, you better hope that your opponent doesn't get it.
Right.
Love this drill.
Yeah, it's a big time effort drill too.
It is a big time effort drill. Now, half of them aren't doing it right. This was the first time they did it. There's a good example right there. 31's not going to get the ball, secures with the left arm, swats with the right. To be honest with you, it might even be better if you assign somebody to be the DB, because that DB then knows that he's got to make sure the ball isn't caught, instead of both going after it like this.
Yeah, I think especially at like the high school level where, everyone wants their time with the ball more than a pass breakup.
Absolutely. Questions about all that stuff?
No, I think that's good. Maybe just some coaching points you're kind of looking forward to in any of those, like, or some like big 3 coaching points you'd like to have throughout your indies.
Here's my big thing is, are you seeing me now or my screen?
I got your whatever your icon is, the Fate Whispers to the War.
Okay, that's old. I didn't even know the old.
No,
well, anyway,
that's all good.
There we go. Now we're good?
I got your screen again, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, the big coaching points for me when we're doing individual work is to make sure that we're doing it as fast as we possibly can. Okay? Meaning we're going full effort. It's got to be full effort. We want to go full effort because I tell my guys all the time, if you want to get faster, you have to practice running fast. If you want to get faster out of your break, you got to practice being fast out of your break. So that's why when I do all those pattern little reads and those movement patterns, I do it one-on-one so they could get some rest. I want them to get 10 solid reps. Okay. And when I say 10 reps, they're literally going to be covering 25 yards. So think about that. If you have 10 times 25, that's a lot of sprints. If you're doing that 3 guys across, now they're getting 30 reps. And to be honest with you, now they're dragging, and reps 12 through 30 are slow. And so you're not getting any better. It's not a conditioning drill. That's my big coaching point on it.
No, so you guys must do some team conditioning in there then, right? Just full team.
We do a little bit. We don't do a ton. One thing that we do is whenever the ball's on the ground in Pascal, we scoop and score. So it's literally sorry, I'm trying to get this thing fixed. Whatever.
You're good.
I'm literally those guys when there's an incomplete pass, they're scooping and scoring, and they're doing a hustle pursuit takeaway drill. Okay. And then the other thing that we're doing is anytime the ball is called in scale, everyone's got to get there. So we're hustling our butts off to make sure that we're getting our conditioning done in practice. And if guys aren't in the video, by the time the video cuts off, they're getting a loaf. Okay. And that was something that we worked on a lot this year.
No, it's awesome. So Coach, kind of just wrapping up, I kind of want to wrap up with everybody with like kind of 3 questions, 3 tips kind of thing. So my first one, I don't know if you had a chance to look through it, but what is a tip you would have for younger coaches, somebody who's looking to get into the coaching ranks, maybe get up to college someday? What tip would you have for a coach in that scenario?
The biggest thing for me, for a young coach, is understand you're interviewing every single day. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're interviewing every single day, like I consider this an interview to the world, and that's why I'm wearing my St. A's hat to represent everybody. But for real, like you're interviewing every single day because you do not know who could be your next boss. For instance, I run a lot of football camps over the summer, and it's amazing to me, young coaches that work for me that will show up to camp late. And
That's
when that
crazy.
happens, I'm like, that's fine. This is camp. If you do it again, I'm not going to bring you back. But number two, I will never hire you as a real football coach.
Right.
And then the next thing is do whatever project you give the project back to your boss better than they expected it to be.
Yeah, beat your expectations.
Absolutely.
So then my next one would be, what is a tip you have for a player? You coach at the college ranks. What is something, I know kids and players don't always listen, but if you could get into the mind of all your players or one of your players, what would be a big tip you could give out?
Listen to your coaches, because there isn't one coach on earth that's purposely telling you the wrong thing. And if they are coaching your team, their livelihood could depend on your performance. So they're telling you what is best for you and the team. And then my motto is do what everybody else does better, and then do what others refuse to do to be great.
I love that. And then my last one I got, when you were a young coach, kind of just starting, what is one tip you wish somebody gave you?
Oh man, one tip that I wish somebody would have gave me.
If you could speak to yourself from whenever you started coaching.
Yeah, I think the best part, or the biggest thing, would have probably been as a young coordinator to really, really, really force my assistants to question me more. That would probably be the big thing. Hey, I need you to shoot holes in the things that I'm doing. And when there were mistakes that I made as a young coordinator, um, there were times when the rest of the staff didn't even know that those mistakes were made, and I probably should have made them a little bit more evident for them so that we wouldn't make the same mistakes again. That will probably be the thing for me. And I wasn't, I was late 20s, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm too old to remember when I was 23.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting starting out so young, trying to get into coaching, but I love every second of it, man.
No doubt.
So awesome, coach. And the last thing I have here, I don't know if you want to talk maybe a little bit about first and goal sports, but I'm trying to let coaches who come on give me their time, trying to give them some time to talk about whatever you're up to, whether it's a podcast, a YouTube channel, or some summer camps you're doing. So I don't know if you want to talk about that for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing football camps now for 22 years, and I finally was like, you know what? I got tired of working for other people, so we formed our own LLC back in 2009, I believe, 2010, something like that. Um, and basically, what we're trying to do is replace some of these money grab camps and teach kids how to play football the right way. And as we're doing that, teaching them some life lessons, we've teamed up with the Anti-Bully Squad and done some things. We've worked with Michael Orvin and the Playmaker Academy. We've worked with Anthony Myers Foundation to try to do some things locally to help give back to the community. The big thing I always feel like it's important for coaches to be ambassadors of a great game of football. There about 5-6 years ago, it was really, really getting a bad rap with the concussions. So I try to do, teach our safe tackling to our kids at camp, and I'll go to youth groups and speak to them about the safety in the game of football. Because if the game's not around, I don't have a job, and that's no fun.
Yeah, that's a future I don't want to see either, coach. All right. Well, thank you again to Coach Chadd Braine, St. Anselm's football. Thank you for coming on Football Coaching Corner. You can catch him at Coach Braine, Braine on Twitter, or First and Goal Sports at first, spelled out FIRST, Goal Sports on Twitter. Coach, thank you again. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Thanks for the
Thanks, Coach.
opportunity. Bye now.
See you later.